What is biotechnology?
Go.
The application of biology and technology.
It is a biological process that intends to improve the quality of human life.
Bioelectronics is the application of electronics to problems in biology, medicine, and security. This includes electronics for both detection and characterization of biological materials, such as on the cellular and subcellular level. Bioelectronics also focuses on physically interfacing electronic devices with biological systems. The goal of bioelectronics is the integration of biomolecules with electronic elements to form multifunctional devices. For real-time diagnostic and monitoring of diseases has driven wonderful developments in sensors and particularly in biosensors. Biosensors can integrate portable and implantable devices and be used in biological and biomedical systems.
Bioelectronic devices. Bioelectronic is a field of research in the convergence of biology and technology. It was defined as the use of biological materials and biological architectures for information processing systems and new devices. For real-time diagnostic and monitoring of disease has driven wonderful development in sensor and particularly in biosensor.
The first reference to bioelectronics was published in 1912, focused on the measurement of electrical signals generated by the body, which is the basis of electrocardiogram. In the 1960s, two new trends in bioelectronics began to appear. One trend enabled by the invention of transistors, centered on the development of implantable electronic devices and systems to stimulate organs. One of the examples of this is pacemaker.
So what disease could bioelectronics could potentially treat? Number one is the ICD or implantable cardioverter defibrillator. To have a role in preventing cardiac arrest in high-risk patients who haven't had but are at risk for life-threatening ventricular arrhythmias. It is a battery-powered device placed under your skin beneath the collarbone that monitors your heart rate. It uses a battery to send electric signals hearts that beating too slow, same as the pacemaker. It can also deliver an electric shock to help restore a normal heartbeat to a heart that beats chaotically and much too fast. Here's the video that further explains the ICD or the implantable cardioverter defibrillator.
When the heart's natural pacemaker is not working properly, the heart may beat too fast, too slow, or irregularly. A doctor may implant a heart rhythm device like a pacemaker or defibrillator to restore the heart's natural rhythm. These devices are traditionally implanted in the upper chest beneath the collarbone and are about the size of a stopwatch. These battery-powered devices are connected to the heart with a lead, a thin, flexible wire that is traditionally inserted into a vein into a heart chamber. An internal defibrillator can sense when the heart is beating too fast, called tachycardia. In this case, the device will send small, painless electrical pulses to correct the heart rate. If the rapid heart rate continues, the defibrillator will deliver a necessary life-saving shock and restore the heart to a more normal rate.
So, ICD device is placed under the collarbone. ICD device is implantable under your skin. Just under the collarbone, it can detect the dangerous arrhythmia like ventricular fibrillation and respond with the electric signal to restore a normal rhythm. So here are the ICD device that connected to a heart that keeps monitoring the ventricular fibrillation or the heartbeat. It is a sensing wire called a lead detects fibrillation and sends those signals back to the ICD device. ICD device and its function. Pulse generator. It is a house battery and tiny computer. Energy is stored in the battery until it is needed. The computer receives information from the LEDs that determine what rhythm is occurring. Here, the long wire is called the lead wire that sends impulses from the pulse generator to the heart muscle, as well as the sense heart's electrical activity. Each impulse causes the heart to contact. There are three parts of the ICD device: single chamber, dual chamber, and biventricular chamber. The single chamber ICD is a lead attached to a right ventricle if needed energy delivered to the ventricle to help it contract normally. While the double chamber ICD is lead under attached to the right atrium and the right ventricle. Energy is delivered first to the right atrium, then to the right ventricle, helping your heart to beat a normal sequence. There are two wires lead connecting to a heart. And then the biventricular device, 2 or 3 leads that position in the right atrium and right ventricle and left ventricle via the coronary sinus system. This device helps the heartbeat in more balanced way and specifically used for some patients with heart failure. So, when is an ICD used? People with heart muscle damage or heart failure have a greater chance of having dangerous fast heart rhythms. ICDs are often recommended for people who have this problem even if they have not yet had an abnormal heart rhythm. ICDs do not prevent heart attacks, which are caused by blockages in the heart's arteries, but do not treat abnormal rhythms, sometimes associated with the heart attacks. ICDs do not keep people alive forever. People with ICDs can die of causes other than heart rhythm problems. That's all my report about the ICD devices and the introduction of the bioelectronic devices.
Another example of a bioelectronic device is chromochord. Chromochord is the first ever bioelectronic musical instrument. It was created by Josiah Ziner in 2011, together with Francisco Castillo Trigueros. Josiah Ziner is a biological scientist who completed a PhD in biophysics at the University of Chicago. He spent 2 years as a researcher at NASA. Trigueros is a known composer, sound artist, and computer music programmer. He is the one who created the piece that would be played using the chromochord. Chromochord. It uses LOV proteins or light, oxygen, and voltage proteins. These are plant proteins. These are plant proteins that are sensitive to light. Ziner isolated LOV proteins from oats, collected them in vials, and bioengineered each sample to react differently to blue light. The chromochord holds 12 vials, each paired with a different sound. When light shines on one vial, the proteins inside swell, changing the wavelength they absorb, and a sensor measures the change in absorption and cues the sound. As one set of protein expands, the chromochord emits the sound of a bass, and when the protein shrinks, it produces the sound of a chime. Here, chromochord is derived from the two words chroma and chord. Chroma refers to colored lights, while chord refers to the strings of a musical instrument. Here, this is the first chromochord prototype, which had a push-button interface. And below is the second version of the chromochord, which is much faster but cannot be directly played as is. Instead, a score is written as ones and zeros of course and used to control the photoexcitation of the proteins. It allows for much more complicated music to be played. The goal of the project is to create some form of two-way communication with nanotechnology and allowing that interaction to create a stimulus that can be experienced in the non-nano world. Here are the components of chromochord. Here, this is the second version of the chromochord. At the top part, there's the spectrophotometer, which is connected to the LED lights. Then the middle part is the LOV protein solutions. These proteins are the ones that shrinks and expands. This Each of the vial is connected to a sensor, then is connected to a Arduino. Spectrophotometer is a device that allows the measurement of optical properties of a sample. Spectrophotometer is used in the chromocord controlled by a computer to allow signal processing. Next is LOV proteins. LOV proteins, these light, oxygen, voltage sensing domains are protein sensors used by a large variety of higher plants, microalgae, fungi, and bacteria to sense environmental conditions. It uses flavin mononucleotide chromophore that, when reduced because of photoexcitation, changes their absorbance drastically around 450 nanometers, and the protein undergoes a conformational change. The chromophore uses blue light to excite these proteins. The Arduino is a open source platform used for building electronics projects. Arduino Duo is the model used for the chromophore. It's the first Arduino board based on a 32-bit ARM core microcontroller with 54 digital input-output pins, 12 analog inputs. It is the perfect board for a powerful, larger scale Arduino project such as the chromophore. The chromophore, how it works. The chromophore the user will start by pressing a button that would make the device produce a sound. To change the pitch of the sound, the user would turn on the LED lights to make the proteins swell. That would cause the change in pitch. A person who uses the chromophore can customize the sound being produced by changing how proteins would react to light and the protein's amino acid sequence. The trials of the chromophore. It was first played at a physics conference in Berlin. The second time it is played is on May by the collaborators when they had their first 2-day musical installation at the University of Chicago. The room was dark and the sounds were eerily calming on the front wall projections of deep blue blobs morph into one another, a visual representation of the sounds. But on the second day, the proteins began to stick together. The musical phrases turned into noise and the visuals faded. As time goes on, a percentage of the proteins can degrade or aggregate that cannot interact and causes them to not interact with the light anymore. This is dependent on each engineered variant. This also changes the response. As of now, the chromophore is still being developed because of this problem. That's all. Thank you.
Another example of a bioelectronic device is the AbioCore artificial heart. AbioCore. AbioCore was a total artificial heart developed by Massachusetts-based company Abiomed. It was fully implantable with the patient due to a combination of advances in miniaturization, biosensors, plastics, and energy transfer. The AbioCore ran on a rechargeable source of power. The internal battery was charged by a transcutaneous energy transmission system, meaning that no wires or tubes penetrate the skin, reducing the risk of infection. However, because of its size, the heart was only compatible with men who had large frames. It had a product life expectancy of 18 months. What types of patients could benefit from the AbioCore? The AbioCore is intended for use with patients whose hearts have irreparably damaged left and or right ventricles, and for whom existing methods of surgical intervention and or drug therapy are inadequate. The AbioCore can be used with patients who suffer from congestive heart failure or coronary heart disease. Congestive heart failure, prevalent in older patients, is a result of progressive deterioration of the heart over a number of years. Coronary artery disease is prevalent at all ages and can lead to heart attacks and chronic ischemic conditions. Parts of the AbioCore. The AbioCore heart consists of 6 major parts: 2 hydraulic pumps, a porting valve, a wireless energy transfer system, an internal battery, an external battery, and a controller. How does the AbioCore work? As one of the most sophisticated implantable medical devices to be developed, the AbioCore is designed so that a patient can remain mobile and continue a productive lifestyle. Equipped with an internal motor, the AbioCore is able to move blood through the lungs into the rest of the body, simulating the rhythm of a heartbeat. The AbioCore consists of an internal thoracic unit, an internal rechargeable battery, an internal miniaturized electronics package, and an external battery pack. The thoracic unit, weighing about 2 pounds, includes 2 artificial ventricles with their corresponding valves and motor-driven hydraulic pumping system. The implantable electronics package monitors and controls the pumping speed of the heart based on the physiologic needs from the patient. The AbioCore operates on both internal and external lithium batteries. The internally implanted battery is continually recharged from an external console or from a basic patient-carried external battery pack. This is achieved with an energy transfer device called TET, or transcutaneous energy transmission. The TET system consists of a set of coils, one internal and one external, which transmit power across the skin without piercing the surface. The history of the AbioCore. AbioCore was surgically introduced into 15 total patients, 14 of them during a clinical trial and 1 of them after the FDA approval. On January 30, 2001, the FDA granted Abiomed an investigational device exception, IDE, for an implantation into humans via clinical trial. This opened the door for the first implantation of the AbioCore into Robert Tools on July 2, 2001. He lived for 151 days after having a fatal cerebrovascular accident. Time magazine awarded the AbioCore its Invention of the Year award in late 2001. The second patient, Tom Christensen, who was given less than a 20% chance of surviving 30 days at the time of his surgery, lived for 512 days after receiving the AbioCore, dying at February 7, 2003 due to the wearing out of an internal membrane of the AbioCore. An additional 12 patients had the device implanted in 2004, resulting in an average lifespan of less than 5 months among all 14 patients. For a patient to be eligible for implantation with the AbioCore, the person must have had severe heart failure with a failure of both ventricles and had to be likely to die within 2 weeks without transplantation. AbioCore was surgically introduced into 15 total patients, 14 of them during a clinical trial and 1 after the FDA approval. However, due to insufficient evidence of its efficacy, Abiomed abandoned further development of the product. The company also had plans to improve the AbioCore with a second version based upon the AbioCore ventricles and the pan-state energy converter. It was expected to last for 5 years, more than triple the life expectancy of the AbioCore. The company stated it would be 30% smaller than the original model and it could be implanted in smaller men and women. Additional modifications were planned to reduce the patient's risk of stroke, which was a concern of the FDA. As of March 2016, AbioCore 2 has not come to fruition. However, additionally, the AbioCore product has been removed from the Abiomed website, with several news agencies reporting in 2015 that the company had quietly abandoned further development of the device. And with that, I conclude my presentation on the AbioCore artificial heart. Another example of an
Bioelectronic devices. Bioelectronic is a field of research. Ay, ulit, tama ba? Wait.
3,
Ano?
wala pa si Patrick. Are and these proteins. These LOB proteins from oats collected in vials and bioengineered each sample via